two very important and distinguished guests with us this morning. Ms. SArrington, who's a child care specialist with the Department of Human Services for the state of Tennessee, and Mr. Walter Hunt, who is the Executive Director for the Metro Action Commission. And let me welcome both of you to comments this morning. Ms. Arrington, one of the things that we'd like to talk about this morning will certainly deal with child care in the state of Tennessee. But your title is a child care specialist, a childhood specialist with the Department of Human Services. And perhaps you could give us some information relative to your responsibilities and how that sort of coincides with child care in the state of Tennessee.
Okay. What I do is I do daycare training. So I'm one of the ones. There are two of us who do training across the state of Tennessee. And we provide training to all licensed child care providers in the state. So we're running up and down the highway from Knoxville all the way to Memphis yearly.
And so you've got a fairly good idea of the nature of child care throughout the state of Tennessee, especially through the licensing process.
Pretty good, pretty much so.
Very good. Walter, what about your responsibilities?
Well, my responsibilities is more Davidson County areas. Our agency, which is Metro Action Commission, it covers all of Davidson County. We operate a variety of services, such as the CSBG, the Community Block Grant Program, low-income assistance programs for energy assistance. We have GED courses. We provide transportation for the homeless. Biggest component at Metro Action Commission is the Head Start program. Currently we have about 600 children in the program, and by the end of October we'll have about 740 children in the program, so it's growing very rapidly. Very
good. Before we start this morning, let's, Ms. Arrington, look at the status of child care in the state of Tennessee. I think that most newspapers and most public affairs programs that we see on television and wherever now will talk about the status of child care. And looking at the state of Tennessee, what would you say the status of child care is in this state at this particular moment?
Well, I think we're doing a very good job, a pretty good job. In 1986, there was a governor's task force on child care, and out of that task force, a lot of recommendations were made. And so we've been doing a lot to implement the recommendations in terms of availability for daycare, the quality and access to daycare. So we have a lot of good programs available now.
So those are the three areas, the availability, quality, and access, that I think that if we can sort of talk about for the first few minutes of this program, and it will also allow you to give us some information in reference to Head Start. Why don't we talk about availability? How available is child care in the state of Tennessee?
Well, it's not what we want it to be, but we're working at it. We have about 1 million children ages birth to 12 years old, and we have licensed child care for 1 out of 5 children. So there's not enough child care. Most of the care, or half of the care, is usually done by relatives of people with children. But there are a lot of children are in unlicensed care and in no care at all. So we're working on it.
Now, what is the department doing in terms of the unlicensed care? I would imagine that that would be our major concern in terms of trying to...
Well, we're so busy working with licensed centers. The only time we know about unlicensed centers is when it's reported to the department. We're mainly trying to make sure that we're providing quality care for the children that we serve in licensed centers.
And you've got 1 out of 5 children who need care that are being served.
Yeah, there are about 117,000 spaces for children in daycare. So that's a lot, but it's still not enough for us.
So that would be approximately 20% of of children who might need care,
right,
who are not being served, and
right,
you've got approximately 80% who are not being served, or at least not being served through licensed centers.
About 50% of children are served by family members, but as more and more women begin to go into the workforce, those people in the homes aren't going to be able to take care of their relatives.
Very good. I think one component of any kind of child care program would be the program that you're involved with, Mr. Hunt, and that is the Head Start program. Why don't you give us some information in reference to that, because I think that has proven to be one of the more successful children's programs that we have on the federal level, has it not?
Yeah, the federal government has dubbed it as the best kept secret in the nation. We do overlap with DHS to some degree in terms of licenses and what they call the Child Care Food Program. However, the Head Start program, it's a little bit different twist, has a little different twist from what the private daycare system is. Head Start is, first of all, is nonprofit. It is not a child care program as we know it. It is a child development center. And the reason they call it development center is simply because it's 4 days a week, it's about 6 hours a day. Every child that comes into the program has to undergo screening for vision, speech, hearing, psychological, and if anyone are found to be deficient, then they have to have therapy, and that's no cost to the parent. There and again, this program is based on income. It serves all the kids in Davidson County on a first-come, first-served basis. But like most daycares, we still don't have the number of slots that we need to reach all of the children. She just mentioned that you had about 1 million and some slots. Well, about 30,000 of those slots are right here in Davidson County because we have almost 40,000 children between the ages of 1 and 6 right here in Davidson County. And so our program is a more complete program in terms of health care, development, food. We have a special program which is called the CCFP program, in which every child participates in that program, but they would participate in it just like they do at home. It's a family setting type system where they serve themselves. It's not a cafeteria type things like that. So our program, even though it's associated and it takes on the characteristics of a child care, there's a lot of different twists in there that makes it apart in terms of development.
Very good. Ms. Arrington, I think in talking about the developmental aspect of it, when we talk about child care in Tennessee and we say that approximately 50% of the persons who ought to be involved are not served, are we talking about a babysitting kind of program? Do you license just babysitters, or do you license developmental kinds of programs that Mr. Hunt is talking about?
Babysitting is a bad term for us. We believe that we are providing quality care. There are daycare homes, daycare centers, group daycare homes, and people have to have training. There are specific standards that are set that they have to follow in order to meet, to be able to be licensed.
Now, the federal government